Hello everyone and welcome once again. So this is session 3 of the CBT. If this is the first one you're watching, then please go and watch session 2 and session 1. By now you should have an understanding of what anxiety is, the physical sensations, why we feel the way we do, what's happening in our bodies. That was discussed in session 1, part 1. Then I went on in part 2 and 3 to discuss trigger thoughts and behaviours. Part 4 was we need to act, we need to try and stop them thoughts and behaviours, and stop, pause, just relax for a little moment, and hopefully prevent the anxious sensations that we get, which aren't very nice at all, as you know. So then in session 2 we went on to talk about situations, the thoughts, the feelings and the behaviours with this sheet. So I said make yourself a notebook or anything and write down some situations that are that you recognise, how they made you think, what you thought at the time, how they made you feel, and what was your behaviour. I've got some examples here. You'll have your own, but I'll run through these examples and go through the break in the cycle. This is the next important step. So we know all the feelings, we know why we're feeling the way we do. We now need to start linking, recognising our thoughts and being able to challenge them with a fact, really. So the first situation, I've got 3 examples here, and one of them may just make you think, oh yeah, So first situation, you've come into work or whatever the situation, but you come into work, you've said hello to a friend, you say hello, and they snap back at you. So what would you think at that point? Put yourself into that situation. What would you think? You may think, I wonder what's up with them, maybe they're not feeling well, maybe something's happened, and that would make you feel concerned and compassionate, and you'd probably behave by getting them into a quiet corner and confronting them kindly, and asking, are you okay, what's wrong? That's fine. The anxious mind could possibly feel like, oh, what have I done? What have I said to upset them? Turning it onto you. What? Oh, they've just snapped at me. I wonder if somebody said something to them that I've said that's upset them, or and you run over these thoughts in your mind, the anxious mind, and it makes you feel possibly hurt, embarrassed, upset, angry, even, and then you may behave in like self-destruction. First of all, running over all the things that you may have done. You may avoid that person. You may confront that person, but more on edge, like possibly a little bit angry, and the situation can really get out of hand. And realistically, it's just breaking that cycle by recognizing the anxious thought, like, so what did I do? And possibly challenging that with, hang on, the fact is they've snapped at me. I don't know anything, so I need to approach this on the fact, and the fact is they've snapped at me. We need to know why. Are you okay? Is there a problem? Stopping that train of thought. So another situation, which some of you may be familiar with, I don't know, but there's millions of situations. Find your own, but some of these you may. So you're walking home from something, you're walking home from work or from an event or anything, you're on autopilot, just your mind's wandering, sort of thing. It's dark and you hear a rustle in the trees. So you hear a noise in the trees, and your thought is, oh, what's that? No, there's a couple of ways this can go. You can think, oh, it's just a cat or something, and you carry on relaxed and walking on in the state that you were in before. The anxious mind could think, oh, someone's following me. Now imagine how that would make you feel. You know, that would make you feel scared. You'd tense up, you'd possibly start sweating, your heart would possibly start beating fast, or maybe even pause and stop for a second. You'd possibly get knots in your stomach, and you know, that's your digestive system being slowed down, because immediately, and it takes literally a split second, and I've mentioned this in my other videos, it's literally a split second for the fight and flight mode to be triggered. The good thing about this is, so that's how you feel. So you've got all them feelings, and how's that gonna make you behave? So you're possibly gonna start walking faster, possibly even running, you know, scared, maybe panicking in your bag or your pocket to get your phone to start ringing someone. If you're really brave, you might, well, I want to know what's going on here, and you might challenge, but very unlikely. Normally, in that event, you'd normally start walking faster, or maybe looking over your shoulder, a bit frightened, scared, you know. And then, you know, you're walking along and you hear this, and then from the trees, a cat appears, or a dog appears, or something, a child appears even, and immediately, you either have a laugh to yourself or think you're stupid sod, you know, and immediately you calm down. And that's how that event there, this is a good one actually, because this shows how quick we can be calmed. So when you're in that anxious state, this shows how quick we can be calmed. That's how quick we can react to this. The reason that we can't do this when we're in a really anxious state is because a lot of these events, we're creating these events in our mind. So you can't just change this overnight. It takes a while to slow down, but little by little, if we start breaking these cycles, we get calmer and calmer and calmer and calmer, until eventually we have nothing to panic about. And that's when it all happens, you know, that's when we start to feel like we're finally getting somewhere. So yeah, we've got another situation now. That second situation, that was probably quite a good one, because probably most people can relate to that. So third situation, we're walking down the street. You've got a friend, you assume you've made eye contact with a friend that's coming up the other side of the street, and you put your hand up and wave, and that person seems to like disappear behind someone and go into a shop. So you could just think, as the normal mind would think, oh, they didn't see me, I'll catch up with them next time, and your behaviour would be simply to carry on with your day with not another thought in your mind. The anxious mind doesn't work like that, and immediately it could go into, oh, I wonder why they didn't ignore me, or I wonder what I've done, you know, similar to the first event where you start questioning yourself. It's about you all of a sudden, you know, what have I done? I wonder if somebody's said anything. And it makes you feel hurt, and it could make you feel angry, you know, if you think they've ignored you. And your behaviours might be that this one event, this crazy one stupid event that didn't actually happen, could make you avoid that person and affect your friendship. You know, oh, they ignored me, I'm not ringing them anymore, and this is the anxious mind, you know. When realistically, if we can break that cycle, so at the point, say, sort of like we're gone from the thought, so we recognise the thought, oh, they've ignored me. So then another little, I call that the monkey mind, you know, the emotion mind, oh, they've ignored me. So then your conscious mind needs to say, well, how do I know they ignored me? They might have just simply not seen me, and bang, that's broken that cycle. And then we go back to step one, where our thoughts and feelings will just carry on with our day. So there's 3 examples of the situation, to the thought, to the feeling, to the behaviour, and how realistically at that point of that thought, it's in our control to challenge that thought with facts, only facts. We can only live our life on facts. It's time to not live our life on thoughts, because that's what's doing our damage. So yeah, I hope that's helped. Session 4 will go into more how to break these cycles, but try and put this into practice. Hopefully you've got on a piece of paper somewhere from session 2 some situations, thoughts, feelings, behaviours that you recognise in your life, and now this little task here, you can hopefully think, oh, if I'd have thought of that at the time, it would have been a different scenario. And you can start to break down these things as they're happening and recognise them as they're happening. Keep writing these down, keep writing your situations down, how they made you think, how they made you feel, and how you acted. Keep making a note of all this as you go through, because the more you have to look at, God forbid, but if ever you recover from this and then suffer later on, all this information you'll be able to go back to. So yeah, I hope that's helped. Thank you to all the people once again that has wrote saying that these videos are helping them. That's brilliant. If you've not seen them until this, then please go back and watch them from the start. I think it starts with it starts with the group history, then my story briefly, and then the CBT part 1 to 4, and then session 2 and session 3, which is this one. So yeah, I hope some of them have helped. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, because that means if you do miss it on the group at any point, hopefully you'll get some sort of notification that lets you know about it. And yeah, I shall see you soon. All right, thank you very much. Bye.